The industrial shed. What exactly is the pre-engineered building industrial shed? What are its basic components? And how we should start modeling that in the ETAP software. In this lecture, we will learn about the basics of a PB industrial shed. What exactly is the pre-engineered building industrial shed? What are its basic components? And how we should start modeling that in the ETAP software. So first of all, if we should know the basic details about the PB shed. For example, here you can see it is a simple PB shed. Here you can see that these are the vertical columns and these are the rafters, and the members that is coming from this point to this point, that is the side purlin, and these are the sag rods. And if we want to go that in detail, this is the basic image of a PB panel. Here you can see that these are the purlins, these are the rafters, these are the vertical columns or vertical brace. On the top you will find that there's a sheeting, and sheeting is being supported by the purlins. And here you can see that these are the plan bracings, and here you can see that this is the canopy. This is, for example, a door to enter. This is a rolling shutter. This is a monkey ladder, or what you call it as cage ladder. This is a wall panel. This is a roof platform. This is a catwalk to access. These are the turbo ventilators. These are the roof monitors. These are the ventilators. And this is the basically turbo ventilator, or we can call it as power ventilator. And this is a 300 ridge vent, and this is a 600 ridge vent. So accessing or studying only the structural parts, what a structural engineer needs to do is that he needs to design this vertical columns, these rafters, these purlins, and these girts, and these sag rods. Similarly, we can check for other examples also. For example, if we will see this image, here you can see that on the vertical columns, basically there are some brackets, and on these vertical brackets, rails are welded to give the access or give the passage to the crane. So here you can see that similarly, like here, there are also vertical column, and this is the bracket on which rail is coming, and on that rail a gantry can be supported. And on the top you can find here that this is the plan bracing, and this is the purlin, and on the top there is a sheeting. Similarly, we can check other PB sheds also, and sometimes on the top of the PB sheds, solar panels may also be supported. So we need to take the loads of the solar panels also. Here you can see that this is the column, and these are the bolts that are being casted for the base plate of the PB shed. This is also an ideal 3D model. This is the vertical column, and these are the rafters, these are the purlins. And here you can see that basically the ideology of designing is that on the bottom, that is on the point where the PB shed is being supported to the RCC columns, the thickness or the width of the column is less, and on the top the size of the column is more, because the moment here is very high. And similarly for the rafters also, for the rafter also, the size of the rafter is maximum here, and it gets reduced here, and when after reaching here it's again increases. PB shed span can vary from minimum 20 meters to approximately 50 or 60 meters also. Here also you can see that the span of the PB shed is very high, and here the size of the PB shed increases because the moment increases here, and similarly here also increases because the moment is maximum here, and here it decreases because the moment is somewhat less. This is not a PB shed, this is basically a self-supporting roof panel. This is also a type of structural system in which the sheeting itself form its structure. You can, if you want to read more about this, you can Google self-supported roofing system or spider roofing system. With that you can get some more information. From the outside, the PB sheds look like this. some windows can be there, some rolling shutters can be there, and some entry or exits can be there. But on the top it looks and on the out. So in this lecture we will learn how to model the PV shed in the ETABS software. So first of all we will go to File, New Model. We click on Use Built-in Settings with units can be metric SI, steel section database can be Indian, steel design code let us say IS 800, and concrete design code let us say IS 456 2000. Left click on OK. So now we have option here that whether we want to go with uniform grid spacing or simple story data. In this video we will draw freehand, that is we won't use story data and grid spacing. We will learn how to draw freehand model in the ETABS. So we will left click on custom grid spacing, left click on edit grid data, delete all the grids. I am selecting all the grids by left clicking and drawing this rectangle. Left click on delete, again left click on OK, and left click on custom story data, left click on edit story data. We can select all the stories, right click, delete story and delete existing structured story. Left click on OK and then again left click on OK. We can close the Model Explorer, just open one window, go to the plan view, left click on base, left click again on apply and then OK. So now we need a joint. So we for that we need to go to draw joint objects. Here it is showing that plan offset, that is x, y, z, it is 0. So if we snap onto the origin point, we will get a joint at the origin. But you can see here that there is no snapping options. So to activate the snapping options, we need to go to draw and snap options. Here we can left click on lines and frames, edges, fine grids, intersections, left click on apply and then close. So here you can see that now you can snap onto the origin point. So left click on select object, right click here. So you have drawn a joint on the origin. Again left click on OK. Now to avoid this, like here you can see that the cursor is snapping onto each and every point. So to switch off this, we can go to draw snap options, left click on fine grid and then again left click on apply and close. So now you can see that your screen is free. So select this joint, we can go to the 3D view, go to edit, copy, edit, paste. Vertical is the z-axis. So let us say the height of PV shed is approximately 5 meters. So enter 5 here. Left click on OK. So now you have drawn a joint here. Let us say the span of the PV shed is 40 meters, but it is supported on the middle, that is it is supported on the 20-meter distance. So select this joint, go to edit, copy and edit, paste. Enter the delta x as 20 and delta z has to be, let us say the slope of PV shed is usually in the range of 1:10. So 20 meter, that is 20,000 divided by 10. So the height of the PV shed has to be 2000, that is 2 meter. Left click on OK. So now you have drawn a joint here. Again, click the base point, go to edit, copy and edit, paste. Enter delta z as 0 and delta x as 20. After that, as the span of our PV shed is 40 meter, so we go to edit, copy and edit, paste. We enter the delta x as 40 meter. Then left click on OK. So now we can draw a simple no section frame. So we go to draw beam and draw beam column brace. Here we can select the property as none. So here you can see that sometimes it do happens that your cursor will not snap onto some joint. So you can press the scroll wheel on your screen and then move left or right so that it automatically snaps to the joint. So left click here and then again left click here. Left click here. Here you can see the distance is 20 meters as expected. And left click here, again the distance is 20 meter. Draw a column here. Right click and then draw a beam from this point to draw a column from this point to this point. Snapping can be done very easily when you are drawing in the grids and elevations and stories. But the main purpose why I am not selecting is that I want you to believe that a structure can be drawn freehand also in the ETABS software. It is not compulsory that you need to draw each and every grid, you need to draw each and every story. So this is like a freehand sketching that we are doing here. And after that, we will learn how to define the frame section view. That is, shed is running from grid 1 to grid 13. The distance of the spacing between two frames is 7242 here, and for the next frame it is 7667, and after that in the end frame it is 7242. So the total length of the PEB shed is approximately 91.15 meter, that is 91150 mm. And along this, as we have already drawn in the previous lecture, the column is going from up to first 20 meter and then again 20 meter. Here you can see that there are some numbers here: 6 meter, 7, 7, 7, 7 meter and 6 meter. So this is basically the gable end of the PEB shed. So we have basically two gable ends here, along grid 1 and along grid 13. So here you can see one gable end and this is the other gable end. Here you can see that this is the side elevation. That is, if we will see the PEB shed from here. So here you can see that there are various rolling shutters here. That is, there are three rolling shutters, that is RS1, RS2 and rolling shutter 3. And there are some local canopies here also. Here we have proposed that we can provide the side bracing, and here this is the side sheeting, this is the roof sheeting. After that, this is the main structural frame that we were drawing in our previous lecture. So we have drawn this frame, that is, we have drawn a column in the middle after 20 meters, and we have drawn this no property frame. So why I am showing you here is that we need to draw the PEB section property like this. That is, the property is continuously changing. The depth of the beam is low in the middle and high on the beam column junction, and the depth is somewhat high here. It again reduces here, it again increases here, and then again it reduces here, and then it remains constant for up to some distance. And here this is the same procedure. That is, the depth is constant here, after that it is increasing here, and then again decreasing here, and then again increasing here, and then again decreasing here. So basically PEB sections are made up of built up sections. So to save the structural steel, we have an option to put steel into that area only in which the bending moment or shear force is high. Here on the beam column junction, as this is a fixed end condition, so what exactly happens is there a large amount of moment develops here. if we will draw the bending moment diagram that we will see in the last result lecture, you will see that the bending moment diagram is somewhat like this. That is, the bending moment is maximum here, and that on the top, and then it comes on the bottom here, and then again it goes to the top here, and then again it goes to bottom, and then again it goes to top, and it reduces to 0 on the bottom. Why it reduces to 0? Because on the bottom conditions of the PB sheds are preferably pinned. It can be fixed, but in my experience I have not seen a PB structure which is fixed on the bottom. So it is a very rare case. So here most of the times the end supporting conditions are pinned. After this is the gable end. As I was discussing with you earlier, that the slope is kept as 1:10. So here on the bottom and here on the top, the height difference has to be 20,000 divided by 10, that is in the range of 2 meters. So this is the detailing that we do on the rafter and column junction. That is, we provide a plate here, we provide some stiffeners here, we provide some bolts here, so that 100% moment is transferred from the rafter to the column section. And this is a very important detailing that we do in the PB sections. What basically we are achieving here, we are basically tying the top as well as bottom flange of the section to the purlins. So here we have two advantages. Number one, the effective length of the purlin reduces, thus decreasing the size requirement of the purlin. Second, the bottom flange of the section is tight. That is, there will be no lateral-torsional buckling on the PB sections, as PB sections are very thin and very deep. So there is a very high risk of lateral torsional buckling in those beams. So to avoid that, what we basically do is that we tie the top as well as bottom of the PB sections to the purlins to avoid the buckling. And in addition to that, purlins are also tied by the sag rods. So this is the typical detailing of the sag rod connection. So now we shall start with this. That is, we need to define the sections here. So before that, we need to define the material properties. Left click on add new material. We can go to India, Steel, Indian, and Fe345. Please note that as PB sections are built up sections, so we usually used high grade structural steel only. So we select Fe345, left click on OK, and then again left click on OK to close the window. After that, we go to define section properties and frame sections. So there will be some by default section properties available. Left click on add new property. Left click again on I wide flange section. So first of all, if we want to define this sloping section, that is, the depth is high here and depth is reducing here. So what we need to do here is that we need to name this section, that is member 1 high depth. Let us say approximately 1200. Material Fe345. Total depth has to be 1200. Top flange width can be 300. Thickness can be approximately 25 only. Web thickness can be 10 mm. Bottom flange width can be 300. And bottom flange thickness can be 25 mm. Let us say we can increase the web thickness by, let us say, 12 mm, and we can increase the flange width by 350 mm. If the section is semi-compact or slender, the E-tabs will not show the design results. So to avoid that, we can take the sufficient margin, left click on OK, and after that we left click on add copy of property, and we change it as member 1 low depth, let us say we decrease it to 750 mm with same flange and same web thickness. So left click on OK. So again left click on add new property, and then here you will find non-prismatic sections. So we name it as member 1 prismatic. (1200 to 750). That is, the height of the section is reducing from 1200 to 750. Here we name the start section as 1200 and end section as 750. So here you can see that the section is visible like this. That is, the height of the section is 1200 here and it is being reduced to 750 mm. So again left click on OK. So now we have defined this member 1 prismatic 1200 to 750, and then again left click on OK. Please save the file. In our drawing, what basically is happening that we have a single member from this point to this point. So we need to divide the member into 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we left click here, go to edit frames and divide frames. Let us say we need to divide it into 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let us say we divide it into initially, break into 3 frame objects and then left click on apply. So we have divided this frame into 3 objects, and now we need to select this frame and we need to divide it into 2 frame objects. Left click on apply and then again left click on OK to close. So here we can assign the define frame section to this part, that is from this part to this part. In the drawing you can see that you need to put the 1200 size here and 750 size here. So we go to assign frame and section property, and then we left click on member on prismatic 1200 to 750 and then left click on apply and then left click on OK to close. Now our main purpose is to check that in the 3D view. So we can go to view and show rendered view, and then you can see that the member size has been defined from this point to this point. That is 1200 size is here and 750 size is here. Rest of the beam is empty because we have defined the none property. So after that, what we can do here you can see that the size is again increasing from this point to this point. So let us say it is increasing from 750 to 900, and then after that 900 to again 750, and then 750 has to be constant from this point to this point. So we have right now defined 1200 to 750. After that we need to define 750 into 900. So again we go to define section properties and frame sections. Left click on member 1 low depth 750. Left click on add copier property. We name it as member 2 underscore high depth underscore 900, and we change the depth as 900 mm. So left click on OK option, and then again left click on add new property, left click on non-prismatic. So here start section has to be 750 and end section has to be of 900. So here you can see that now 750 depth is again increasing to 900 mm, and we need to name this section. Let us say the name of the section is member 2 underscore prismatic 750 to 900. Left click on OK option and then again left click on OK. Select this section, go to assign, frame and section property. Left click on member to prismatic 750 to 900 and then again left click on apply. We can go to view and show rendered view. So here you can see that the size decreases from 1200 to 750 and then it again increases to from 750 to 900 mm. Similarly, now in third member we need to define it as again from 900 to 750. As 750 and 900 depth both are defined, so what we can do here is that we can left click on modify show definitions, we can left click on add new property, left click again on non-prismatic, we can name it as member 3 underscore prismatic. It is being reduced from 900 to 750. So we put the depth here as 900 and end section is 750. Left click again on OK, again on OK and select this beam, left click on apply. And we can select this beam here and we can assign it as of 750 mm depth. So let us see what we have done here is correct or not. Go to view and show rendered view. So here you can see that we have drawn the PB beam profile as per our bending moment requirements. After that, we need to define the column here. In column you can see that the depth requirement on the bottom is very less. It is in the range of usually in the range of 300 to 500 mm. So what we can do here is that we can define a new section here. Left click on modify show definitions. Left click on add new property. Go to steel. I wide flange section. Name it as column. .350 depth. Select the material is Fe345. Total depth is 350. Top flange width let us say 200. Bottom flange width 200. Flange thickness let us say 16 mm. Web thickness let us say 8 mm. So left click on OK. And left click on add copy of property. Column underscore 900 depth. Select the depth as 900 and top flange width as 450. We can select 300 also. Bottom flange and top flange width, and web thickness can be 20 mm. Left click on OK. We need to also define the prismatic section. So left click on non-prismatic. Select the name it as column. Middle. We can assign different property to the gable sections. So starting is column 350, ending is column 900. So here you can see the section profile. Left click on OK option and then again left click on OK. So now we have column middle section here. Select this column and then left click on apply. Go to view and show rendered view. So here we have drawn a PB section profile. That is, it is 300 here, 900 here, 1200 here, 750, 750 to 900, 900 again to 750, and then constant for some length. Left click on this close option. Similarly, we can define the beam section properties here. Before that, we need to define the column section here also. As per my experience, this column section is of uniform depth. So what we can do here is that we can assign this 350 section property here. So left click on apply and go to view and show rendered view. So here you can see that this column is uniform. Similarly, we divide this beam into 3 frame object first. Left click on edit frames and divide frames, and we do the same procedure. In previous lecture, as I was telling you that the same procedure we can do on this frame also. But to reduce the time, what we can do is that we can just draw a reverse rectangle here. Click delete option on your keyboard. Select this frame. You should notice one thing, that why I draw this reverse rectangle, because there are 2 types of rectangle. One option is this, like this. So here you can see that when I am drawing a rectangle from left to right, if this rectangle is covering this member 1 prismatic 12 into 750, but it is not covering the full length of the section, this member will not be selected. But if I will draw a reverse rectangle, that is from this point to this point, this section will be selected. So by doing this, all the members, all the joints and all the shells that are in the profile or in the range of this reverse rectangle, all of them will be selected. So as we need to copy this whole arrangement about this column, so what we can do is that we can select all the beams and all the joints, go to edit, and then you can replicate. So here you have an option of radial. So on radial, what you can do is that there are 2 options, center and specify. So you can left click on pick one point on model, click this joint, select the angle as 180, and just point your mouse over this apply, and then you can see that the whole sections and all the properties are being rotated, and it is like being copied. And you can also left click on modify, show replicate options for a sign. So here we have an option that either we want to copy all the properties and all the things. So left click on apply and then left click again on OK. So now we have saved a lot of time of ourselves by doing this simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 frames, which are at spacing of 7.667 meter from each other. So we can replicate all the arrangement, select all the beams and select all the joints, go to edit, replicate. We can close this window here and we can click on radial, and here you can see that the axis is -y. So we can select linear here. Increment data has to be along y-axis only, and dy has to be -6.667. This number is written here, sorry, 7.667, and number has to be 11. I am counting again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. Notice that number 1 is already drawn, so we need to enter number here as 10. And here you can see that it is showing the probable image of the replicated frame. So now we have drawn a full-fledged PEB portal frame shed here, and we can left click on OK to close this option. Now there are various other things that a designer need to keep in his mind while modeling the PEB shed. Now we need to join all these beams also. How we need to join? Practically, the all the portals are joined by purlins also, as well as girds also, as well as eave strut, raker angles, etc. But as a designer, you don't need to model the purlins and girds in the structural model, because it will only complicate the things. No designer model the purlins and no designer model the girds. They only calculate the section sizes manually, and then apply the unit weight of that section on the portal frames. Most of the people, what they do, they simply draw this portal frame and then they simply analyze. They don't even do the 3D analysis. But why I am forcing you to do the 3D analysis is that we need to check the bracing also here. We need to draw the plan bracing also. So as a designer, I will always recommend you that you should always do 3D analysis of the structure, because this type of 2D analysis is only recommended if you are doing hand calculations, or they were suitable when it was 1980s or it was 1990s, when there were no softwares with the engineers. But now you have full-fledged advanced software, so there is no logic in doing the 2D analysis. So what I have done here is that I have replicated all the portal arrangements here. So now we have two options. Number one option is that we need to draw all the connecting beams here. So following this option only, we can go to define section properties and frame sections. We can left click on add new property. Select the section shape as channel, steel channel. Left click here. Either we can define the section here, or another option is left click on import new properties, left click on channel section here. So it will show you the list of available Indian standard sections as per the Indian standards. So we can left click here and we can select ISMC 300 here. Left click on OK option. So now ISMC 300 is now imported here. Left click on OK option. Now we can go to draw beam and draw beam column brace in plan elevation in 3D view. Select the type of line as frame, property as ISMC 300. So we need to join all the portals here. Or what we can do here is that we can draw these two frames and we can just simply replicate. So similarly, we can draw MC300 here also. So we go to draw beam column brace and draw the beam column brace in plan elevation on 3D view. Similarly, we just snap all the joints here and draw the ISMC 300 section. So now we have drawn a full-fledged portal frame 3D structure. Our input is that we need to model these 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 columns in the middle and 2 columns on the end. So what we need to do here is, and plus one more thing you need to see here is that on the gable end, as the forces are very less, so we can go for this uniform depth section also. So let us say we take the depth of this section as 750 mm. Why we are taking uniform depth here is that because we are getting continuously supports here. After every 6 meter or 7 meter we are getting supports. So what we can do is that we can go to our ETABS model. We can select this frame here. I am rotating this view by clicking shift key on the keyboard plus scroll wheel on the mouse. Go to edit, replicate, linear. dy we need to enter it as 7.242 as the distance between the frames was 7.667 initially. Now we need to set it as 7.242. So enter here is 7.242 here, and we need to enter plus here because we need to go in the direction of y. So here you can see that it is showing the preview. So left click on apply and then OK. So here we have copied a PB portal frame for the gable end section. Now what we need to do is that we can delete these beams. Just press delete option on the keyboard. Go to draw beam and draw beam column brace here. Select the property as member 1 low depth 750 mm. Draw beam from this point to this point. Go to select object. Now in our drawing, the distances are 6 meter, 7 meter and 7 meter. So we need to draw a joint here, that is first joint shall be at 6 meter and then the next two joints shall be at 7 meter. Go to edit, copy and edit. Edit, copy and edit, paste. First of all we enter delta x as 6 meter. Left click on OK, and then we again need to do the same action. Delta x as 7 meter. So now to draw the gable end columns, what we need to do here is that we need to select this joint. Again go to edit, copy and edit, paste. Enter the delta z as, let us say, 7 meter. Left click on OK. So now we have a vertical joint above the supporting joint. So we can go to draw beam column brace and draw beam column brace. Let us say we enter the column 350 depth here. Draw a column from this point to this point. Right click here and then go to select object and select both this column as well as this rafter. Go to edit frames and divide frames. Left click on break at intersection with selected frames and joint. Left click on apply and then OK. Select this extended column here and then press delete on your keyboard. Similarly, delete this joint. So here now we have a column, gable end column, and a rafter that is supported by this column. Similarly, we can do the same procedure here. Press Ctrl C, Ctrl V on your keyboard. Enter delta Z as 9. Left click on OK. Go to draw beam column brace. Enter the column of 350 depth. Draw a column from this point to this point. Go to edit frames, divide frames, break and intersection with selected frames and object. Left click on OK. Just delete this extended column. So now we have drawn one gable end side. Similarly, we can save our work by going to edit, replicate, radial, center we can set it as this joint, angle 180, left click on apply and then OK. So now we have drawn one gable end side. Similarly, we need to draw a gable end side here. So either we can do the same procedure like here, like we can select this portal and we can copy that and we can do all the same things here, or what we can do is that we can select this portal and copy this on the desired coordinate. So if we want to calculate how much distance should we copy, so the distance between this grid 1 and grid 13 is basically 91.15 meter. So what we need to do here is that we need to select this gable and portal. Just press Ctrl C, Ctrl V on a keyboard and enter delta Y as minus 91.15. Left click on OK. So now we have drawn gable ends on both the parts, but we need to connect the gable end and middle structure. So we need to go to draw beam column brace, select the section as ISMC 300 and then connect the frames. Sometimes it do happens that the cursor will not snap a joint. So you need to press the shift key on a keyboard and rotate the view. And then you can see now that it is snapping. Save this model, go to view and show rendered view. So here you can see that you have drawn a full-fledged 3D PB model. One thing that is missing is plan bracing and elevation bracing, that we will discuss in the next lecture.